Welcome in. It is ATB, atbshow.com. It's Adam, no Timmy again, Rubba Shoes, and Little Shoes somewhere on your screen, although he is not here. He's here. Little Shoes, speak so that they know that you're
I'm
here.
here. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
very
he's here.
much
All
here.
right, he's here. You just can't see
I-
Rubber Shoes. I mean, Little Shoes. What a mess. Technology sometimes is good, sometimes is bad. Today, a little bad, but that's all right. We're getting a little bit of a late start today, but that's okay. We want you to get to atbshow.com and check out all our socials there. You can check out the Rubber Shoes rant and wrap up every morning on Insta. So make sure you go to atbshow.com and then to access the show on your favorite podcast app or YouTube or Facebook, you can jump on there too, and it'll link right to the show. So no Timmy today.
It's on Instagram and Facebook, the Rubber Shoes wrap up.
Oh, okay. All right. Is that new or has that been the whole time?
No, it's been like that the whole time.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I pay attention a lot. Where's Timmy today? Do we know where Timmy is?
He said he had traveling again for KW. So I think it's a local one though. I think he had meetings set up somewhere.
Oh, all right.
In New England. And
Scotty Dukes is normally our main correspondent, but he's just battling basement issues, I think, continually. So that one storm really knocked him for a loop. So we're hoping to get him. He's out this week and next week. We're hoping to get him back the following week. So just in time for Major League Baseball to kick off, probably. Maybe if it ever kicks off. All right, let's get right into it. The Celtics, an incredible stretch of 3 games right back to back against the Hawks, the Grizzlies, and then the game on Sunday against the Nets. Tatum dropped 54 and they're on a roll. And Rubber Shoes, I'm starting with you. Are you a full-time believer in this team yet?
I believe in them. I just they definitely have a chance. They definitely have a chance.
A chance at what? A chance at the finals? Or winning the finals?
Yeah.
Winning the finals, I don't know. I don't know how they match up against the Suns or Golden State, although Golden State's kind of been a subpar the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But give them a chance, they have a chance, that's for sure. They definitely have I think a really good chance of making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
They have a
Classic
little
Celtics.
less chance of going to the finals, and then even a little less chance of winning it, but there's still a chance. Like
you're saying there's a
Dumb
chance.
and Dumber. You're saying there's a chance.
I mean,
yes.
what I said last week, I'd say is exactly the same. Still holds up, if not better.
So Tatum drops 54. He goes toe to toe with Ja. Now, admittedly, Ja did not have his best game against the Celtics. Let's be real about it. Okay. He had a couple of nice dunks,
they both had bad first quarters and first halves. Like Tatum and Morant both were not great the first half, and they both turned it on. Like that fourth quarter, They were just going back and forth, trading shots and buckets. So it's very good. I was so mad because I missed the end of the Nets game because I'm mad that I missed it, but I was taking my mother out for her birthday.
Oh, well, that's
her
nice.
Birthday was
that's
her
nice.
birthday was yesterday. We took her out Sunday, but it was bad scheduling on my part. So I missed the second half of the game, but I kept checking the updates at the table.
You were like, yeah, ma. Yeah. That's good, ma. Yeah. No, it was a good game. Great game. And it's fun to see Kyrie just fold in the face of relentless boos. I mean, the dude was booed the entire game. It was unbelievable.
Oh, I know. I think we might have lost Tyler.
Technical difficulties be damned.
So it's
all right, just the two of us. That's
he
my
has
favorite
to come
song.
back in.
Yeah. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the highlights of Kyrie getting just mercilessly booed, and then what he said after the game, which is that it feels like a scorned girlfriend is, wanting him to come back. And I'm like, I think you misread the situation, dude.
Nobody wants him back.
Right. I think everyone around here is glad that we didn't keep him.
Right.
But and I mean we're still the way like the same with Johnny Damon. It's how he left and where he left to, and the same with Kyrie. It's how he left. It's how he told us he was going to stay, and then he left, and
but
now we're glad he left now.
Yeah.
But he's always going to get booed no matter what.
When he left, I still like his just run was bad. Like by the time he was about to leave, I didn't want him on the team anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he
was more of a burden to us than like he ruined kind of the whatever the team had. The 1 year that we didn't make the conference championship was when he was at his peak with us and didn't get hurt.
Which is what's so interesting about it though is like the fans, and I feel that same way too, Tyler. But you watch the players still love him. I don't get it. I mean, obviously, there wasn't this like cold shoulder walking away from him. Like it drives me a little bit nuts, to be honest with you, because the KG, Pierce, and Ray Allen thing, it was always like frustrating that it happened, but I understood KG and Pierce's perspective on it, and they kept giving him the cold shoulder.
Kevin Garnett has to get over it now, but
I think he might be over it now, but I'm talking like, the year after Ray Allen left. I mean, they were, pretty much not on speaking terms for probably the next 10 years after that, right? Wouldn't you say? I mean, he left in what, 2010 or 2011, I guess.
I'd say though, the difference with that one more is like the Celtics direct competition was the Heat. That's who they were. I mean, that big three had been, feuding with LeBron for the last, 3-4 years there. And they thought they had, taken him down. He goes to Miami and then Allen joins them.
Yeah. Well,
I get why they were upset about that. Whereas Kyrie going to Brooklyn isn't necessarily the same as that. And
I mean, go ahead.
Just the way that those three characteristics are polarizing wise, I don't feel like they were exactly, always on the same page anyways.
Yeah.
Like they might have been cool with each other, but I'm sure there was a couple like, arguments or whatever. Whereas like, Brown and Tatum are young dudes. Kyrie still, was pretty early into his career when he went there. I don't think that they had a bad relationship and that they were going to just all of a sudden not have one now that he's gone.
I mean, one giant glaring thing between, the KG, Pierce, and Ray Allen thing, the Johnny Damon thing that you mentioned, Rubber Shoes, and the Kyrie thing is the first two, those guys actually were here for a pretty long, extended period of time and had success, right? I mean,
they gave us a reason to want them to not leave.
Like fans, as soon as Kyrie left, fans were like, okay, bye. Nobody cares. The team is toxic. You're toxic right now. Just leave. And yeah, they had a tough couple of seasons after he left, but they've started to turn it around, obviously. And got the better of him.
They bounced right back after he left. I mean,
true. That's true. That's a good point.
The only bad season we had was last year, and we still made the playoffs.
Well, yeah, and the bubble season's like one of those asterisk seasons too.
Right.
It's like kind of.
But hey, I mean, we did good.
Season.
So
yeah, right. No, we did pretty well. So, all right. So the current team, the way it is structured, do we need to add anything to the team to be a legitimate contender, or do you really feel like this team, the 7 or 8 deep that they go every night, can get it done on a regular basis through 3 7-game series to get to the finals?
I'm worried that they don't have enough bench, because that's they're gonna get tired if they're only rotating 8 in, and the trade deadline's over, so they can't add anything that way. They could add Isaiah or Joe Johnson, but
your favorite.
I think they would have already done it by now, because they need to get people in and get the flow, get the feel of each other out there. Right. It's not like you're gonna wait and bring them in the last week and then see what happens. But
in a way, can't they plug if they get a shooter, right? I mean, their biggest need is a shooter off the bench, right?
Right.
And wouldn't you think if they bring in a shooter and you just plug that guy in the corner as an outlet?
I think that would be perfect, because our best 3-point shooters are 2 stars, whereas it's always good to have that shooter where you have Tatum or Brown cut and they pick up that double team,
Right.
and then they cut it to that guy. Whereas you can't really do that to Tatum. Tatum's always going to be getting guarded, and Brown's always going to be getting guarded. You know.
Think
Yeah,
we
like
could get Redick out of his podcast duties.
I think he's podcasting for life now. So
Is Kyle Korver still on the Bucks? Get him.
No, he's retired too because he
Oh.
was coaching some guy.
Just to take a look here, if the playoffs were to start today, we'd be against the Bulls,
yeah,
which I'd want that. Honestly,
that wouldn't be a bad first round matchup for us. I don't
because
think.
I'm
No,
not
I don't
really
think so.
I'm not really afraid of the Bulls much at all at the moment, just because I believe their record against winning teams is like 3-12 or something like that.
I think the only matchups I'd be concerned
I
with,
would want the Nets,
is-
by the way. I would want
is-
there to be a way for us to play the Nets in the playoffs.
I think Miami and the Nets are the two teams I'd worry if the Nets can get clicking and get their and I mean, I'm not really worried about Simmons. I don't think he really adds that much to them.
I think it might just be a Tatum thing, but even if you look at the playoff last year where we should have gotten swept, like I don't know what it is, but Tatum just kind of has something over KD where he can. It's one of those just weird things where Tatum always excels really well against them.
So I would
I-
be
I-
I would be concerned to not.
I wouldn't want to play Miami. That's
To be careful what we wish for, because Simmons, yes, you're right, has been known to choke in the playoffs, but he's also a top 5 defender in the league, right? At least he was when he was in full speed, going full speed every day. And they don't have that right now. They don't have somebody they can match up against Tatum with. And I think that was the reason he put up 54 the other day, is because they have nobody that they can match up one-on-one with Tatum. So they always have to double him. And if they have to double him, he's become such a great passer out of the double team that they're able to put the ball in somebody's hands that can make a move or take a shot from the corner. I mean, Grant Williams has been lights out all season when you have him in there.
Tatum, the last month, a light switch went on with him, and he is creating, like he does. It doesn't show up. It's so weird. It doesn't show up on the stats. Like that game against Memphis, he was finding the open guy, making the pass, but it was going 2-3 passes around, and then someone was scoring, but he was initiating it. So I think he only ended up with 3 assists. And when I saw the stats, I was shocked that he only had 3 assists, but he was starting it. He was getting the double and triple team and finding the open guy, and they were moving the ball around great. And if they could keep doing that, it's, they definitely have the feel like they're enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
They're having fun playing again, which they've said. Tatum definitely said it in one of the press conferences after one of the games in the last week. He said they're having fun again. And it's when you win, you have fun. And when you play good, you win. So maybe it finally sticks with them. I just want to, while we're in the basketball realm, we're talking about Tatum and Kyrie.
Can I finish on my point first?
Duke alumnus.
No?
I just want to say I'm still riding high with North Carolina beating Duke on Coach K's last home game ever for Duke. It was like winning the national championship. It was great.
What I love is every week. So every week you have a jersey that matches whatever the story of the week is, right? I mean, it's like, of course you have a jersey for
Coach thought
K's
put
last
into what I
game.
wear on the show every week. There was definitely thought. And I want to give a shout out to Timmy that the BC Eagles in the ACC tournament have 2 upsets already. They're making it to the 3rd round in the ACC tournament. They are ranked they're the number 13 seed in the ACC tournament. They beat number 12 Pitt yesterday, and they just beat let's see, it was a pretty high number 5 Wake Forest today. So they're still rolling in the ACC tournament. So I got to give a shout out to the BC Eagles for Timmy's sake.
Well, while we're on college basketball, be careful what you do here, Rubber Shoes, because while we're on it, I'm gonna.
So
shout out
Tatum, I think he's been the best he has been all year, actually in his career, and this is the best I've seen the Tatum Brown duo.
I'm gonna shout
ever.
out the UMass women's basketball team, champions of the Atlantic 10 Conference for the first time ever. The UMass women will be going to the NCAA tournament. I'm super excited about it. They are definitely going to be underdogs for sure, but very excited that they will be making it. Also,
there's always a trend to your shout outs. They're always the female teams.
And also,
well,
on the
first of all,
topic
the
of-
UMass men are doing nothing, so who knows? Nothing's going on there. So, but then I will also give another shout out because we on Saturday we went to the Big East tournament, the Big East women's tournament at Mohegan Sun, and UConn is just lights out right now. I mean, they won the championship by 30 points. So I don't know how they'll do against tougher competition. It was Villanova that they beat in the championship. But Selection Sunday will be interesting. And I'm very excited because UConn women are projected to play in the Bridgeport bracket. So they'll actually be playing on home turf 10 minutes down the road from me. So I'm hoping to be able to go to the games. So, all right, I'll leave it at that. That's fine.
And also on the topic of women's basketball, quick shout out to Brittany Griner, who's facing 10 years in Russian prison.
Yes. Yeah. How is that not a bigger story? Honestly, I understand.
I don't know why she was there.
Well, she was there to play. She was there. She was playing.
I'd stay the hell away from there. Jesus.
Yeah, but the reason she was there playing is because they make $200,000 a year here, and she makes $1 million a year in Russia. So that's why, we don't put a high value on women's basketball here in the United States. But hopefully, we're turning that corner. But anyways, Celtics tonight are taking on the Hornets. They've got, let me see, I just had it up. They have
Hornets got torched by Kyrie
week.
last night.
Did they? Yeah.
I mean, Kyrie dropped 50 on them.
Unfortunately,
that's another thing with the NBA. It's matchups mean a lot. Like you could have a team that has a bad record, but for some reason they match up well against a certain team, and you'll be like, why do Celtics keep losing?
I feel like the
team?
Kings always freaking beat us.
But they always that's one of them. So not now that they've got the trades, Detroit played them really, beat them once and played them really tough the second game. So it's a matchup thing. And although we usually end up on the right side of the games with Charlotte, Charlotte.
They give us trouble.
It is a tough matchup for them. We do have a tough time with them.
And Hornets aren't very good this year.
So we have the Hornets on tonight. We have, unfortunately, the Pistons on Friday night. So those are two challenging games. And then the Mavs, we are playing the Mavs on Sunday at 3:30.
I think we beat them.
I don't know. The Mavs have been on a roll here, so it'll be interesting.
I will say the one. Sorry, you could go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I was like panicked about the last week where they were playing, the Grizzlies and the Nets and the Hawks, and this week I'm sort of like, we should win these games, and that's like almost a bad spot to be, right? I mean, we could very easily go, 1-2 in these next 3 games, and that the end of the week doesn't look so good as the start of the week does. So fingers crossed that we do okay tonight.
So my brother was down. It was my brother. So my brother's birthday was Monday. My mother's birthday was Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
My brother was down at Mohegan Sun.
My birthday's Saturday.
The opening
happy
of
birthday.
a sports book down there, and he made some bets. And one of the bets he put down, I got to double check what it was.
It was $100 on Celtics Eastern Conference Championship, right?
That's what it was. Yeah. So he put money for the Celtics to win the Eastern Conference Championship. So
I have a
hopefully they do well.
I have a strict rule that I will not bet on any teams that I am actually interested in seeing them win.
I have trouble doing that
because it's an added layer of, crazy that I just don't want. I want to be able to enjoy the game.
Yeah.
And
I forgot what my point was going to be. Frick.
So, well, happy birthday, Little Shoes.
Thank
you. How old are you turning? Do you care to
19.
say? 19.
19 years old.
You're on.
What were we talking about here?
On the back end of your teens. I love it.
I had like a really good thing I was gonna say, and now I totally lost it. What were you talking about? Like when I interrupted you for half a second there?
The schedule?
Uncle Danny's bet?
No, it was right before that. Was it the schedule?
That?
Sorry, I remember it now.
It's back. It's back.
For the first time in like I'd say a good while, the Celtics are viewed as that team to other teams where it's like, oh, you don't want to play them. They're
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Like
Absolutely.
and it's hard to feel that as a fan of the team itself because I've never really like viewed it in that way. Because obviously I'm never like concerned for a team playing us because I want us to win.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we have that rep right now as like that one of those teams you do not want to play, and maybe you don't treat them as seriously as the Heat, but we can catch you and beat anybody.
I mean, I think
Definitely.
if Tatum can drop 54 on the
And we
Nets,
got ranked as the third best team in the NBA this week, I believe.
Oh, really?
Just like as like a title threat. Yeah, I
Wow.
think ESPN or something did that.
All right. Well, it remains to be seen, but the Celtics have been playing lights out. I'm excited for tonight's game, and hopefully when we reconvene next Wednesday, they will have swept the week instead of gone 1 for 2 like I'm panicking that they might. Let's go on to the Bruins. Rubber shoes, where are we at? You got to give me the Bruins update. You know, they're not.
We actually won a shootout, for God's sakes.
Oh,
Couldn't
thank
believe
God. All right.
Yeah, but then they lost. Then they lost in overtime the last game.
Yeah.
But they got a point. The key is that this time
Get
of the
points.
year, it's getting the points, getting a
Right.
point, and it's hard. They have a they. I don't want to jinx them because they do have a tough schedule. It's like for the remainder of the season, it almost works out to a game every other night.
Okay.
So they
that
have
is a tough
2 days
schedule.
off right now, but then they have a back-to-back in there. But it's almost like they play every other night. So they're gonna get tested for, and that's the problem where Swayman's been playing so good, but they're gonna have to play Allmark because they need to rest him.
Yeah.
They can't play him every game. So it's gonna be interesting to see. They're playing well. It was a tough loss against who was it? The game the other night they gave I think it was the Kings. They were winning and they scored 34 seconds left in the third period to tie it up, and then they won in overtime. So it was tough way to lose. But they're looking good. I'm gonna say they're a lock for the playoffs. And
Okay.
There you go. I just jinxed them. But they're like 14 points ahead of the team trying to get in as the last wild card.
So how many games left to go?
But that's the thing. It's like you get 1 point. It's so hard to make up ground. It's hard to make up 14 points with what they have left.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's a pretty good lock. And they were only I think 3 points behind the next level up to be an actual. So right now they're 5 points behind Toronto for the third spot in the division, and they are still 14 points ahead of Columbus, which is the team outside of the playoffs, and they're 2 points ahead of Washington. Both, I think Washington and Boston are kind of a lock for the wild card game.
You know, but
teams.
we've talked about it on this podcast before. The seeding for the playoffs in the NHL doesn't really have a huge impact, right? I mean, you get it like you've said before. If you get a hot goalie,
yep,
anything's possible.
Yeah, the number 8 seed has won the championship in hockey before,
right.
so
which almost never happens in the other sports.
Right.
So
right.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know if it's ever happened in the NBA, but maybe they've
one went to the finals and then they lost. I think it might have been the Rockets.
Right. I think you're right. So Rubber Shoes, I've been meaning to ask you this because I've been watching so much of the Celtics, and I won't make I've been honest on the show that I don't watch the Bruins that much, but the TNT show that they have that they've tried to model after like the, Charles Barkley, Shaq, and
inside the NBA, yeah.
Inside the NBA, yeah. And now they have like the NHL version. Is that decent? I mean, the promos look good, but
I don't really watch it. So
okay. Yeah, I like Inside the NBA, and I rarely watch that.
So. They don't really have the same personalities that they do.
Is that because I know ESPN has one too. So I know Messier's on one, Gretzky's on the other. I don't know which one.
It's not. Yeah, it must be Messier because Gretzky's not on this one that I've seen.
Yeah,
advertised.
I've heard people talk that they're not impressed with either of them.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the Inside the NBA is like they all bust each other's chops. They all seem to be friends.
Yeah.
Like it's fun to watch.
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
definitely watched that, and it is entertaining. You because they they lie to you when they show you the schedule, when they say that the Celtics were on TNT at 7 o'clock and you turn it at 7 o'clock, and
It's
they're
like
just starting the
7:40.
they're starting the pregame.
I
So
know.
you
I know.
get caught in that sometimes. So I do watch that, and it is entertaining. Barkley and Shaq are great.
But
I love.
they only do that Thursday night, right? Because I think the Tuesday night crew is like D Wade and Shaq and maybe even Candace Parker, maybe
Oh, I
on
don't think I've
TNT.
even. I don't even think I've seen that.
Yeah.
Every time I put it on, it's Shaq and Barkley.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So maybe I
I
only
don't know
watch
why.
the Friday night.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I do think it's only once or twice a week that they do
Yeah.
the inside the NBA.
Because I know
Yeah, that's-
Draymond's on sometimes too.
Oh yeah, he does. He does fill in sometimes. I wonder. Speaking of Draymond, I wonder if he comes back. I don't want to get into a big thing about the Warriors, but you sort of
The
touched on
rumor
it that
was
they've
next
been
Monday,
stumbling.
but
Oh really? But it's like it's a back injury, so you never know. I guess.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
Do we
And
do
it seems
we
like
wanna
they need him because they're
Oh yeah,
like,
they're stumbling without him.
they've been.
agree?
I know
Yeah.
the last time I saw they were 3-7 in their last 10.
It's
Yeah, they lost
crazy.
to the Lakers. I mean,
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not. It's
yeah,
kind of
but
hard to do that.
LeBron had to
lose the
drop
Lakers.
56 to beat
right?
him.
Yeah.
I know.
Do we want to touch on the NFL trades here? Or at
Oh
least-
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
No,
Oh, yeah,
we
yeah.
haven't gotten into it yet, but we
Okay.
definitely want to do it.
I didn't know if we were.
can. No, that's fine. We can jump right into it. So,
Let me give my
So
hot take. real
the
quick.
hockey trade deadline. Now that
Oh,
we
yeah,
got
yeah.
it right is
Yeah,
that up.
it was last week.
still it's a week and a half. It's March 21st, and there has been rumors out there of them possibly looking at players. Last week there was the Phil Kessel rumor, and then now there's a rumor for actually a pretty decent.
Also, I'd like to
veteran
apologize
defenseman.
for saying Sidney Crosby got traded
Yeah.
2 weeks ago. I meant to say PK Subban.
Oh yeah.
That's who
Yeah,
I was trying to say. Like, he was a big tier player that got moved twice and he did nothing. That's what I was trying to say. That was my point.
And I just found out some great news the other day. So Mother Shoes and I are going to the Bruins on the 31st, and just found out that it's going to be the Tuukka Rask ceremonial puck drop night.
Oh, very nice. Is that
Yeah,
an anniversary
No,
thing,
we were
or it's
just
just for fun?
I think we did say we're gonna it counted as something.
Yeah.
Birthday, whatever, anniversary, so whatever.
I
But
want to.
yeah.
I want to just make a suggestion that maybe you take the day off from work, and you travel to Rhode Island and go to the Tulip Farm, and then head up to the Bruins game.
No,
Just
so
putting it out there.
the reason why we're going is because we actually have the next day off.
Oh, okay.
supposed-
All right.
Where when we planned it, we both have that Friday off. We were going to do a long weekend, head into New York City, but now that gas is like $7 a gallon,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we're going to make the trip. But we're still planning on it.
we're
I
not
hope it
go-
doesn't get
yeah.
too high.
If you need a halfway point,
That's news to me. I thought we were going to New York.
Yeah, we are going. That's what I said. We're going to New York City.
Well, you said we might not, but
Well,
with gas.
if gas goes up, if we're paying like $200 for a tank of gas, it might not
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
rubber
Well,
shoes. If you guys can make your shoes family plans offline, but that sounds very very exciting. And if you need a halfway point, Milford is halfway, and there's a Hilton Garden Inn right here in Milford if you want to stay.
I don't think we
Just
go.
put it out there.
We usually cut.
Oh, we won't
So,
visit you. Nice.
We go we go Route 15, like 84 to 15. I don't know if
Oh
that goes
yeah,
by you or not.
the Merritt Parkway. Yeah, that
Yeah.
does go past us. Yeah, but it's sort of off. It's not exactly like if you came down 91, you'd pass right by us. But
Yeah.
15 sort of swings out, so you miss all the traffic. That's actually the best way to go.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do in the city?
Just
Hang out.
Okay.
dude. Yeah, we haven't been in
Times
a
Square,
couple
you know.
years because of the pandemic. We used to go in the spring
Every
and the
year or
fall
so,
every
yeah.
year.
Oh, cool.
So it's been like 3 years since we've been
Yeah,
there. so-
2019 was the last.
Well, you should try
Uh,
and get press passes for Tuukka Rask night and see if you can get down on the ice, Rubber Shoes.
I'll do
Take some pictures.
I'll do a selfie picture this time to let you know that I was actually there.
Yeah, please. We don't want it to come up 10 years from now and have us not
Yeah.
believe you that you were there.
Yeah.
All right. So we wanted to jump into the NFL a little bit. We don't have any baseball to talk about, unfortunately. So,
So,
the
yeah,
NFL
huge
is the next
trade.
thing.
We do have baseball to talk about. We have the that they're they're not. They're
not
supposed
making
to have
any
another
progress.
deadline today.
Yeah.
I haven't heard any news. So if they didn't make the deadline today with an agreement, they were talking about canceling another week of games. So
Let's go.
it's a little
Yeah.
bit of news. Do you have any updates, Adam? You looking it up? See if
No
there was
no news
Oh.
on the on Major League Baseball. So
Yeah.
it's not looking good. It's
So
not
yeah,
looking
There
Drew
was a-
Lock. Drew Lock is a
There was
Seahawk.
frenzy of news yesterday for the NFL.
Yes, there was. Yeah. So let's go down the list.
And today, Carson Wentz trade to the Washington Commanders.
For who? I didn't see that one.
2
For
second-round
nothing.
picks.
They're basically
second-round
getting,
picks.
yeah,
Just
they're
getting rid of
making
them.
room. So they'll be making a deal to bring in a quarterback there.
Yeah.
So
it's
the quarterback shuffle this season.
Well, it's interesting. So let's just go down the list. So Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league, is going to stay put in Green Bay, according to
Yep.
him. I don't know.
Well, no. It's so I heard all the. I think Schefter came out saying he signed for $200 million,
Yeah.
4
4
years.
years, guaranteed $153 million. Then he came out on his social media and said, "I am staying with the Packers, but the contract news you're hearing is false.
not
I
true."
have not signed a
Right.
contract." Yeah.
Right.
So
So
whatever.
basically we'll just wait and see, and nobody really cares. I have one
Yeah.
Packers fan who is a friend of mine that does care really cares a lot because they have nobody else if Aaron Rodgers goes. So it's
Yeah,
good that they
right.
got him.
Well, you don't
Um,
like Jordan Love?
But we have so
The
small
nice
sample
wasted
size,
draft
but
pick.
no.
I'm a casual Green Bay fan. My wife is a big
here
Green-
it
As
my
he
wife-
is of every
Here it
team in the
is.
NFL.
My wife is a big
Uh-huh.
Green Bay fan, and the Shoes household is planning, fingers crossed, to go to the Patriots Green Bay game this season.
Rubber shoes, we need like a nice big whiteboard behind you with all of your team affiliations so that
Probably
we can
easier
tell-
to say that
okay,
teams
if
I
it's-
don't root for.
if it's not the Patriots, it's the Packers. If it's not the Packers, it's whoever. Yeah, like it's
So I think
ridiculous.
So for
The Dolphins. That's right. You liked the Dolphins at one
the
point.
NFL, no Jets. The NBA, whatever team LeBron's on, I don't root for.
Wait, whoa. Back up to the NFL. The
Yeah.
NFL, no Jets. So you
Yeah.
like every other team in the NFL?
I don't have a problem with any
The
team.
Cowboys.
You like? Oh my God.
Yeah,
All right,
okay,
maybe
you-
the Cowboys.
Come on.
But-
Steelers. The Steelers?
Oh, that's one of the rumors I heard today.
All right, let's hear that. What's that rumor?
They
Do
said
you like the Steelers? Can you
depending-
admit that?
Oh no, I hated
Exactly.
Roethlisberger, but Roethlisberger's gone now. So
So you can like them again.
And this rumor that's happening, they said depending on what goes on with the Deshaun Watson hearing this Friday, if it goes good, Pittsburgh is all in for Deshaun Watson.
But they're gonna go from one scumbag to another scumbag. What is going on?
But
But
Deshaun
it's-
Watson is 10 times better than
Great player though.
when
I
he's
mean,
active. He's a
that's
top
it.
3 quarterback in the league. So
The
That's the
Patriots are
NFL,
in
though.
trouble in the Eastern Conference. The AFL, the AFC.
Eastern
The
Conference.
the AFC, they're in trouble because they're stacking quarterbacks in the AFC, and every time. So Russell Wilson just went.
Just
to
tell you right now,
Denver.
Broncos ain't making the playoffs. Telling you that right now.
Oh, that's a
there's
hot
lot
take.
of lot of people think that the Broncos were just a quarterback away. They basically a lot of people out there are saying the Denver Broncos are Tampa Bay before they got Brady.
Yes, I have heard.
They-
that.
now
I mean,
they-
they were
and
good,
now
and
they
they have
just-
a good defense.
And now they just added
receivers,
Russell Wilson. So, but they're in probably the toughest division in football now.
Right.
With-
There's
you
that,
got-
and just Russell Wilson has proven over the last like 3-4 years that once he gets past week 8, he forgets how to play football every year.
No, I think a lot of that's the coaching that he was getting, and
I mean,
and the
we'll
way they
see.
were calling plays. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I
just feel like
been to
he's lights
two
out
Super
for 8
Bowls.
weeks.
He's
and
won
then-
a Super Bowl, so it's not like he chokes under pressure.
And it wasn't
he's
really,
showed he's
honestly, it
done it.
wasn't his fault that he lost the other one. So let's
Right.
be real.
Yeah,
Exactly.
So
Coaching. I think
Right.
Pete Carroll.
needs to go, and he won't go.
Just because that defense was so good,
right.
it made his stock rise up, And since they started losing the players on the defense, they haven't been as good. So
DK
I
Metcalf
don't think
is
I don't
screwed.
think Pete Carroll is as good a coach as he was led on to be because how good that team was.
Seahawks should trade for N'Keal Harry, trade DK Metcalf for him.
Yeah.
So I would say the Broncos, like you've got to look. So they were 7-10 last year. I just looked it up, and yeah, I can't imagine that they're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before they added Brady. I mean, the Bucs had two lights
And
out wide
they
receivers.
also traded probably their second best receiver. I know he's a tight end technically, but
Noah
Noah
Fant,
Fant.
yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, Tampa had
No,
two lights out wide receivers.
Well,
they brought in
Denver does
Gronk.
too. You just don't. They're not names that you hear.
Right.
They're not names that everyone knows.
Judy's good, but he's not that elite level yet.
Because plus also Jameis Winston threw a lot of picks, but he was a decent quarterback.
He
as far
threw a
as
lot of
throwing.
touchdowns too. Yeah.
Right. Denver hasn't had a good. They had Teddy Bridgewater, which he was kind of more of a game manager than elite
Right.
He definitely wasn't an elite quarterback. I think their levels, their offense is going to go up major steps this year. It's gonna.
Well, I mean, you
gotta
if
be
you
an
had
interesting.
Russell Wilson, I mean, you're gonna improve. I mean, there's no question about that. I just think, are they on the level of the Bills and the Chiefs? I just don't see it.
I mean, they have a fantastic defense. I still think their offense isn't like obvious. It's good, but I don't think it's lights out. They're not like a Bills or a Kansas City offense.
I mean, interesting to see who wins the West, because that's a 4 teams. Any of them can go on fire and win that division.
Yeah, but one of them's led by Derek Carr. So
yeah, but they got McDaniels now as the coach.
And also with Stanley as coach, there's no chance the Chargers ever make the playoffs because they're the Chargers led by Brandon Staley. What was I gonna say? Shoot, I did it again. I don't know what I was gonna say.
Dude, you need some like ginkgo biloba or something. Like, what is going on with your memory? You're only turning 19 this weekend. It's supposed to be us old guys that are able to say like, I forgot what I was gonna say.
There's a chance that the Dolphins end up getting one of these quarterbacks.
Right. So, all right.
For what I saw, they're in on Tua one more year.
Tua. Oh my god.
Because they had a chance to get Deshaun Watson last year and they didn't do it.
So, all right. So, Rubber Shoes, you're obviously pessimistic about the Patriots. All right. That's the feeling that you're giving off, that you're like the Patriots are going to struggle in the AFC because of all these quarterbacks. So, do you think Mac Jones has the capacity to compete with Mahomes and Josh Allen? He's obviously not the same type of quarterback.
Not the way the team's constructed right now.
Not the way the Patriots are
There's a lot of factors that I would say I'm pretty worried actually for this season.
Their defense, right? We got to wait and see. On paper right now, Patriots are not good. They're
correct. And if we don't sign J.C. Jackson too, that's
well, I doubt it's going to happen. I don't think they're not going to pay him. Their only chance was to franchise tag him, and they didn't do that. There's no way they sign him for what he wants.
Just really honestly does.
It's a little. I think it's to be honest, I think it's a little harsh to judge the fact that they're not good on paper in March.
We don't have an offensive coordinator.
Talk to me in June or July. I mean,
but the way things are going right now, their coaching staff is a mess.
Yeah,
you don't know who's in charge of what. Their offense, if they keep it the way it is, like
is fine.
Would be nice. No, they need to cut Aguilar, probably cut Jones. I mean, Jonnu Smith.
Whoa, I was like, what?
Cut Smith, cut Aguilar, and bring in. Like, I like them going after Robbie Anderson. I would like to have him instead of Aguilar.
I don't think you need to just keep Aguilar and get Anderson.
What about Amari Cooper? Everybody's talking that we might pick up Amari Cooper.
With our cap space, it's kind of impossible unless we make cuts.
I think
they cut him, so we can sign him for whatever.
we want.
But he's gonna get
Yeah.
offers from other teams that we can't match. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I think he's
I
not.
think he's damaged
He's
goods
not
at this point, right?
Yeah, he's not the $18 million player anymore. I think you could get him for a deal, like especially so they were.
I'd love
about,
to if we could.
They were talking about him, and they were talking about another guy that needs a
not Ridley,
prove it
right?
season. No.
They were talking about Ridley at one
done.
point, but now
Yeah.
he's
Well, while
he's
you're
up.
He's suspended
waiting for
the
that,
whole
I'd also
season.
like to mention that historically in the NFL, there is a trend of a lot of NFL quarterback rookies having sophomore slumps, which also I would kind of put into this
So
as just a small concern, as like that could also happen too. Where
just to talk about the Amari Cooper thing for just a quick second. So Bill Belichick was always like really good at picking up guys that people said, oh, they're washed up, they're done.
I mean, Randy Moss, for God's sakes, one of
the prime examples,
yeah.
but he has filled out rosters with those guys. I mean, honestly, over the years.
I mean, I know you only played for a week, but Antonio Brown,
Yeah.
Corey Dillon was
I
people
could
were
see him,
ready to write him off.
But he's only bringing those guys back with a deal, and I think
100%.
you can get him for a deal.
Right.
Cooper, I know there's been talk about Allen Robinson again because he's going to be available, but I think he's going to. That's the thing. So, would you rather have Allen Robinson for $18 million a year or Aguilar for $15 million a year? Like I
mean, I think that's
Allen
a
Robinson,
no-brainer.
cut Aguilar and pay
Yeah.
the extra $3 more million to bring in Allen Robinson, something like that.
Robinson
they
is
gotta
so
get creative.
good too. It's
They just I don't see anything happening before the draft with the
Right.
Patriots. That's
No, I
usually
doubt
their forte is, they may make a little splash the first day of free agency, but then where they did so much last year, I think they're gonna wait to see what happens in the draft and then see what's left over after that.
let's talk about how
that
lame this year's draft class is. By the way, this draft pool.
It's going to be a tough draft. I don't think the Patriots are going to get much out of it anyways.
We should draft a receiver, but it's Bill Belichick, so he's either going to draft the worst receiver possible or not. So
I would hate to see them draft a receiver, honestly, because his track record is so bad. I would, and honestly, I mean, he does not have a good track record at wide receiver. I mean, what his best?
I mean, the spot we're drafting from is the same spot that like Justin Jefferson got drafted at.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
once again, like I said, Bill Belichick is going to find the
love-
worst one he can find.
I would love them to, but I would love them to get a receiver in the draft high, but they need a lot of stuff on defense.
Yeah.
Well, now we
defense
need a
is so
secondary since are going to lose our best guy.
No JC Jackson. McCourty. What are they going to do with him? He's not signed as of right now.
I don't see
they
them
got rid
signing
of
him.
Van Noy. But they were old and slow.
If Van Noy had a decent season, but
I mean, I was disappointed
was
they
against
let
the bad
Van Noy go.
teams.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know I just like the guy. I think he's but you gotta cut dead weight, I guess, at some point. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. You guys watch the NFL draft, like,
I watch it
nonstop for
watch
24
it, yeah.
hours a day. I
Once
know
it gets like
Timmy's in
halfway
front of
through
it.
the second, I'm done. But
Yeah.
Oh, the combine.
No,
The
not
combine or
not the
draft?
combine, not the combine,
No.
the draft.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know Timmy watches the combine too,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure about the draft.
Yeah.
But rubbish. I mean, Little Shoes, you've got to watch through at least round 6, so you can see if we get our next Tom Brady out of the draft.
I'll find out. It's once it gets to the point where they're not even showing the players, I don't care. It's like, yeah, here's a picture of this guy. He got drafted to the Broncos.
Yeah, it's like the first, and I like how it used to be. I hate that they spread it out over 4 days now.
It's also at this point such a waste. It's like, just open your phone and you can watch something else on TV and be like, oh, okay, so and so got picked.
I feel like if I'm an
Yeah.
NFL team, by the time you get to that point, I'm not even caring. I'm just like
right.
putting
Yeah,
the names in a hat and just picking one out. Like, oh, sure, whatever. Like, I want to go home.
Yeah. All right. So we'll talk more Patriots as the season gets closer. The Red Sox is what it is at this point. They passed the deadline tonight, and no news is bad news, unfortunately, for baseball fans. So hopefully we have good news on the Rubber Shoes rant and wrap up tomorrow morning or in the next few mornings that we can report, but nothing new on the Red Sox front. So we'll be eyeing the Celtics and the Bruins to keep us going through this long month of March, and also March Madness, of course, too.
Right. So speaking of March Madness, I know in the past when we had the Wicked Pissa dudes, we would open up a bracket to our fans.
Yep.
So if anyone out there listening and you want to get into a for fun brackets with the ATB crew, give us a shout out and let us know, and we can figure out how to get your email address. And
well, you
so
can shoot us an email at helloatbshow@gmail.com. You can shoot us an email and
okay.
just put bracket, March Madness bracket or something in the subject line, and we'll add you to the list.
I want to say that again, and let me write it down so I can post it on our.
All right, perfect. It's helloatbshow@gmail.com, and put March Madness bracket in the subject line if you want to join, and we'll try and get you on the list. The Selection Sunday is next Sunday, I believe. So we will have a finalized bracket, and we'll get those out as soon as they're ready to go. What is it? 68 teams now? They got 68 teams? 70 something.
Those play-in games, usually
they don't really count
towards the brackets.
Right. Okay.
So it's helloatbshow@gmail.com.
That's right. Yep.
Okay.
First time we've used it. First time, long time.
Yeah.
All right. Check us out on atbshow.com. Boys, thank you so much for hanging. I hope we'll have Timmy back next week and almost the whole crew. I think Scotty's one more week off, and then he'll be back just in time to give us his expert analysis on March Madness. And we will catch you on the Rubber Shoes rant and wrap up. If you get to atbshow.com, you can click on our Insta or Facebook page and check it out each morning. Rubber Shoes is up before the Roosters, so you'll be able to get it bright and early, I'm sure, tomorrow morning. Have a great week, and we'll catch you next week.
See you around.